All right, I think I'm live now. Hi, I'm Tara Price. I'm a UI designer based in Victoria, BC, and I'm gonna do some daily challenges for Adobe XD for the next 2 weeks. I started yesterday. You can probably find that video somewhere on my page if you're interested. I thought I'd give myself a little extra challenge when doing this. I thought I would, set a time limit. I would go for about an hour. Probably finish it up later on tonight, but go for an hour, design for an hour, and I would stream it while I'm doing it. So if anybody has questions, please let me know. Okay, so the challenge that I'm doing is the Adobe XD Daily Challenge. So let's get started. So challenge number 2 is Hover Trigger, which is one of the component features that I absolutely love since the November update of Adobe XD. If you haven't tried it yet, it will make prototyping so much better. So yesterday I just didn't start with anything. I created a board, a blank board. It was like, okay, now this is where I start. Today, it's a little different. I actually prepped a few things beforehand, so hopefully not much of a mess as it was yesterday, but I'm chaotic and don't necessarily stick to a script. So it'll be what it is. So let's dig in. Number 2, hover triggers. Design a web page for a furniture store and then create their digital instruction manual. Users should be able to hover over furniture pieces to view step-by-step instructions. Okay, I'm not going to quite do that, but I'm going to do something really similar. So I found this lovely image from Unsplash by Minfam. And I pulled up a few icons from Font Awesome that I would use in my design. And from there, I started with a basic logo, kind of 3 column design where panels 2 and 3 make up the center portion, and then the text and stuff that I'm going to put into my canvas over here. So, you know what? I didn't overboard my start, but it's definitely more than I had yesterday. So, I'm also a little more focused on what I want to do today. So for this, let's go and drop the image in. And we're just going to move it up. And so we're going to start with some text. I'm going to stick with the Noble font that I've been using throughout last project, just for sake of not having to add an extra level of trying to design this. So we're going to prototype really quickly. So pull a sitting area. All right, so and we're just gonna make that a little bolder, and we're gonna just change the angle. So we're gonna, increase the size of that to something that's a little more interesting. And maybe just bring it down a hair. Oh, so if I hover over here, I can actually bring out a column. So this is at 850. We're at an 850 430 split on a 1280 canvas. I usually start with a smaller canvas when I'm prototyping because it's a lot easier to add more space than to deal with space as it gets taken away, which is generally why people, when they do responsive design, they think mobile first, because it's important to think about the smallest space first. I like to balance it where I'm thinking about mobile and web at the same time, and what it would look like on a laptop versus what it looks like on a computer. As a user experience designer, I like to think about how the user is going to use it, not just does it look pretty at this size. It's what works best for one site and one might not work for the other. Okay, so we're gonna add the title in here. Let's bring it down to an even number. And maybe tighten up that leading just a bit. And if I were designing this for clients or project work, I would probably spend more time thinking about fonts, thinking about options like that. And then I would put all of those into a style sheet that I can refer to later. But for now, that's not what I'm considering. So I'm going to bring this little angle over, which I grabbed earlier. And we're just going to make a back back button. And we're just going to put that here. And back to catalog. Okay, and I will probably want a shopping cart, not that big, of course. That is a plus. I don't actually want that, but I want a user. And we'll bring that back down to 20. As general rules, and we do not want this to be font awesome. We actually want this to be noble. And yeah, so this is also noble. All right. So as a general rule of thumb, I have some default sizes I'll use for websites and mobile sites, depending on what I'm designing. It's a good rule of thumb, but with fonts, every font is a little different as far as how big it is, what kind of space, what it works for. So this actually it's a decent font for what I'm using, which is big, bold headline things and typography things and body copy things. So we're actually going to bring this up to 24, and we're going to make this into that box so that we can actually bring it down. And then we're going to put some cute copy here. Not everyone has extra space, but when you do, it's great to pull together a little sitting area. All right, putting together a little sitting area where you can read. So a little sitting area where, let's change this, where you can read, put on or just decompress. Okay, so that's nice little copy there. Pull together a sitting area. 30 points in the difference. All right, here's my wish list time. If I were making changes to this app, I would probably have something in there where you can look at spacing between items and not just have to move something to see that spacing, because sometimes it doesn't always pick up on the items you actually want to space the difference for. So if I wanted this, I would like to know what that space is. I would like to be able to stick to the bottom and know what that space is going to be. Okay, so we're just going to bring this down into this area because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. So we have let's go 4 elements on, maybe 5 elements. We'll highlight the 5 elements on the screen. So I'm actually going to start with creating an icon. And we're just going to bring this over here. And this is going to be about 48 pixels. It's a nice, 48 is, if it was translated to mobile design, it's a good size for a finger. Like you're able to touch a 48 pixel on your screen comfortably for the most part. It doesn't necessarily, like, the touch area needs to be 48. The icon itself does not need to be 48. So it's usually, I think the minimum is 10 millimeters is what they recommend for touch on mobile devices, and that you can translate to about 42 pixels, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. You know what? Google it. Use Google. That's what it's there for. That and to track your advertising. Okay. So we're just going to add this little plus button here. 36 is good. We can center it together, and we're going to component this. So this is going to be our item. So we have, let's go back to the top here. So I have this item here. So this little, I'm not a furniture person. I don't know the names of things. And then maybe this nice throw here, or these set of throws. Maybe a planter here, the table here, and maybe these pillows. Okay. So we have 5 things that we can create. So I'm actually going to do something a little different, and this is what I would probably do in actual practice. Is I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it exactly where it was, and then I'm going to grab the component, and I'm actually going to move it to the side. Actually, theoretically, what I would normally do is I would hide this, and then I can move this freely. And then I can go back here and unhide it. That's usually what I do. So I'll create the design on Canvas and then move the master actually off screen so I can actually do things with it. And in this instance, so what I'm going to do is, my inspiration, I think, was an urban barn, where when you hover over this, you get a little pop, and then you can click on it. And that's kind of what I'm going to do here. And I think I'll have them all so that you hover them, but I'm only going to click on set one of them to click. Just because I have an hour, and an hour goes by fast, especially when I'm trying to talk and explain things. And no one's actually watching this, so there's no questions that need to be answered. But if you do comment, I will answer you. If I went too fast, if I was terrible, yeah, please let me know. I have a thick skin, I can take it. So we have this ellipsis here. I'm going to bring down the opacity by, you know what? 20 by 20% actually looks really nice. We'll just do that here. I'm going to change the color of this button here because I'm not quite liking it. So we're going to go this, oh, that didn't do anything. Okay, so we're just going to reset to master. Okay, and now we're going to change this. We're going to drop this. So if I'm dropping something by just darkness, but I don't really want to change the tone too much, sometimes I'll actually just drop into the HSB and change this portion. And I don't lighten things with opacity. I try to avoid that when I use opacity in something, it's intentional. I want to bring some of the background into into focus. Whereas if I'm just lightening the color, I don't want to do that with opacity. I want to actually change the color. So we're just going to add this here. There's two places to add color, and it would be really nice if those two places could be done at the same time, because I want my colors in here to match what I'm doing in there. And you can't see me because I refuse to put my camera on because I have a messy apartment. I'm waving just like wildly at my screen. Okay, so we have this component now. We're going to rename the component to catalog object. Let's go furniture trigger. Okay, so with this selected, I can go in, and default state is default state. I can't do anything about that and change it to normal state like I would do. So default state is the new normal. So we're going to add a hover, and I have used this. I used it yesterday. It is great. I love it. So what we're going to end up doing is, I think with hover, select on that ellipsis again. Maybe? Okay, there we go. And then we're actually going to up the opacity of it to 90%. Perfect. And I like to add a bit of a drop shadow at this point. I want it a little darker, but I want it a little further away. Actually, no. I want it a little blurrier, but not as far away. Okay. This is the part of design that can take forever. So you're like, do I like it like this? Do I like it like that? I twist. This is where most of my hour would get eaten up. It's like I want to try different things. Okay, so that's that. We'll go back to default. It actually doesn't affect any of these because these are already at default. But now, if I look at my Decor IY page, which may be a real company, I just made up a company name, and that's about as clever as I get with company names. Okay, where is my preview? There we go. All right. You know what? It's not enough. It's too subtle, in my opinion, for a hover trigger. It doesn't quite do what I want it to do. It's not emphasizing enough. And yeah. So I think let's go back. All right. Move back over to design. And let's jump into my assets panel because it's a little easier to navigate to these. You know, if I'm like going through my Adobe XD wish list, and please don't object to, like, don't feel bad about this. I also had an InDesign wish list in past days where I would like, you know what? It works pretty great. I love it. I can do most everything I need to do. But if these little things were done, my productivity would increase by like 2%. All right. So hover state. Ellipsis on the hover state. And I would probably, designing this for a client or for professional purposes, I would name layers better. My default naming style is a little more comprehensive than what I do when I throw stuff onto a canvas. All right, so we're actually going to go 95, increase the shadow by a good, let's go 35%. And then we'll just go back to that. And then we're actually going back into the icon, and we're going to increase the color of the icon again. Staying in the same spectrum, we're just darkening it up. I really should know what HSB stands for. I don't. I'll look it up later. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to go back here. And we're going to back in preview again. And, oh, you know what? We can probably make this a little more instantaneous. So if we go to prototype, and we go to the default state, and we see the options for the hover interaction, and you know what? It's not, like, so I don't really need, so I want an auto animation on it, but I don't think I need like the ease out. Ease out's actually pretty nice. I wonder what happens if we get a bounce and we go 0.2 seconds. Okay, now we can preview it. Right. Better. So they're seeable. There might be a little bit of accessibility issues with it. So I would definitely want to look into that. But again, this is a challenge. I'm worried about pretty and demonstration purposes. But you know what I don't like? I don't like the size of this. And then the great thing about these prototypes is I can shrink you down and you will be fixed everywhere. What is frustrating about these prototypes is it doesn't actually change it on the hover. So maybe it did change it on the hover state. Okay, it did. But I do want this bigger. So I actually do want a bit of a pop. And again, these are not big. Like, these is really subtle animations. The disappointing is I can't get perfect centeredness, and that upsets me. I like my perfect to centered. Okay, so we're just going to take away 0.5. Okay, perfect. And then I zoom out all the way and you see the weirdness that is my canvas. All right, back to where I was supposed to be. So we have a nice little play. All right, not the smoothest animation on here, I have to say. So maybe if I go in, I actually like super exaggerate it. Oh. All right. Move that back. Oh, perfect. And now. Now what can I do? Okay. Remember when I said I knew what I was going to do when I came into the stream? That isn't the case. That is no longer the case. Okay, so we're going to go back. We're going to fix this back to the bounce isn't doing it for me. So we're just going to ease in and we're going to go back to 0. We're going to go to 0 form. We're actually going to slow this down a bit. And what's going to happen is I'm going to add a couple things. So we're just going to go to design. And in the center of this, it's actually going to be white. And actually, no, that's not going to have a border. We're just going to drop this down to like almost nothing. And that's going to be in the center there. We're just going to copy it. To move an item into a component, if you don't know how to do it, you actually just cut the item, select something within that component. It's really easy to do if you know, looking at your assets. and then I can just paste it. So there we go. And we're going to copy that again because now I want to move over to my hover state. Open this up. And, oh, it is actually here. I don't have to cut it. So I'm going to go back. This is going to go back to 80% as it was before, which is great. And now this would be easier if it's in a color. I can actually see it. Now, 48 by 48, perfect. Now we do it like that. Okay, and now we'll go back to the... and, oh, come on, get where you're supposed to go. All right. Now I can preview this. Ah, that's a nice little hover animation we have here. I can almost slow it down just a hair. You know what? I think what the thing is that's really bothering me is that on canvas it has, like when I'm hovering it, there's a drop shadow, but when I'm not, there's no, there's no shadow. I think I need a bit of a shadow. I think that was my problem. I think, so we're just gonna go into this one. We're gonna add a shadow and it's going to be 5%. And now we're gonna, oh. Okay. So that is 35. Furniture item in a hover state. That plus sign is, let's go 25. Really just, yeah, let's go 20. Let's really darken this up. That makes it actually seem like something. All right. So we have a hover trigger, and the hover trigger has a nice little animation on it. It's very subtle, but it's very doable. And like my account can probably go to 16. We'll move that in front there. And you know what, that's a little too bold for my liking, so we're just gonna make you regular. Actually, we're gonna put you back to 18. We're just gonna bring the icon down. The icon's too much. And this icon shouldn't be regular, should be regular. There's a better, yeah, we'll bring you down to 20 as well. And here, we're just gonna leave, center everything. Tighten up the space. So we do still want a space in between these items. Okay. So let's do some more headings. So we're gonna bring this down to, let's go 32. 32, no, 32 is actually, no, we're gonna keep it black. I try to minimize the amount of typography that I have in my designs. It slows things down. It causes, it causes issues. So I try to keep down to 3 fonts plus, Font Awesome, because it is awesome. It's very nice to have access to a plethora of icons, because sometimes you can't do custom icons. Custom icons are amazing. People are great at illustrating, but sometimes you just need a cart. Sometimes a cart is just a cart. And we're gonna put in some other links here. We have bedroom. I don't know. I live in a bachelor, so I don't actually have anything other than a bedroom and a bathroom and a kitchenette. What do people have in homes? Kitchen, living room, office. These should actually be in a better order than they're in, but you know. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I want to actually just space between, and then we're just going to group over here, center on the canvas, and then center in the space. And this is no longer center, so we're just going to center to you. If we bring you this whole block down a bit, perfect. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So what do we have? We have a large plant. All right, that's 20. Let's do 24. 24 is a good second header size. So we have a plant, table, side table. I know the names of things. Throw. Decorative pillow, opposed to the actual pillows that I like, that are just comfy. And what I'm going to do is actually, we're going to not move my guides or my other content blocks. It's like it's the first time using my computer. It's not like I've been designing for almost 20 years and know how to do everything. Nope. I get on stream for 5 minutes and I'm hitting the wrong keys. Actually, the problem is I'm used to having my full keyboard with number pad that makes me so happy to my side, but unfortunately right now it doesn't have enough plugs to accommodate everything and stream, so it's kind of relying on me touching my laptop keyboard to input things. Okay. So this, do I have time? What time is it? It's 1:30. So what I would like to do, what I would really like to do is create a multi-state component. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to have, let's, actually do decorative things. I never do decorative things. And we're just going to put a rule in between all of these. Perfect. And can I make this work? So if I have, no, I don't. Okay. So the autocorrect is starting to ruin my life. I used to be great. Now it's just too much all of the time. What do I have? I got a Lorem Ipsum plugin here, don't I? Shh, I read that. Okay, so let's bring this down to 18. Okay, perfect. Now I have some Lorem Ipsum. off to the side here. What? Oh, let's not do the circle. Let's grab. I regret moving those to let's go angle down, angle down. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually gonna just move my text off to my side. I'm actually gonna 56 is good. Okay. So I'm gonna move this down. I'm gonna actually tighten up the space to nothing. Perfect. And then we're gonna ungroup. Okay, and now it's consistent and we can add our content back in alphabetical order as it should be, or if not alphabetical order, then order of relevance. OP. So make like UX tip, things need to make sense to your user. They need to be able to find things easy. Like, don't make them think. So if you have a list, just make the list make sense. Don't have it to be random. Okay. Okay, so if I make component, make component, make component, make component, make component, and then make a component with all of these, am I able to use okay. So I did that wrong. Let's go back. Okay. So now with this selected, this should be decor pillow. And should be content. This is an item list. And okay, now I should be able to paste my text back in, move it to about here, and then move all of these down. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of something, and sometimes I'm not the best person to talk while I'm thinking. Sometimes I just sit and play through a bunch of ideas in the back of my head, and it's one of the weird times where I actually shut up because I never shut up. Okay, so if I, you know what, move you. Okay, and if we go to prototype, let's go, actually, we're gonna go back. So default state, okay. So if we prototype, I'm actually just gonna delete you because you're not actually doing anything. So if we add tap, okay, so what I discovered is I cannot 100% do what I want to do. We're going back to having to do this the long way where we mock up what this would look like for multiple things. So I'm not going to bother with it right now. It is what it is. But it would be really nice when I have this multi-state thing that I can actually have my trigger be something within this component. So that when I hover here, I don't necessarily have to hover over all of this block that I'm going to put into one of these in order to make it work. Yeah, so it would be nice if I could like pull them down and it would be good, but for now it's what it is. All right, and all right, now, well, looking at actually. Or yeah, just gonna change things around. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna make this image too much. Okay, I'm not gonna go through and hover over all of these tips and create content for them. I will, however, do it to this one. Throw pillows. So we're just gonna add a nice little tip box here. Again, I'm liking my opacity today, so we're just gonna drop that back. So this isn't hardcore selling. I'm not trying to sell anything on this page. But we're going to give people the options. So, or at least, so I'm just going to go here. Again, I think we're back to the 28 type. So this is and all right. Try. look for throw blankets in your color palette or complement. This is a great place. This is great. This is a great place to add a subtle pattern. And then, okay. So this is going to end up being a component. We're actually going to use the same, actually, you know what, I think we're going to go with some of the yellow that I started to use. We're just going to end up, what do we want? What is our color? There you go. Ooh, I like that. I love these. Like, I'm not a purple person. I'm really not. But like a blue purple or like a grayish blue purple. So good. Okay. We're going to just do that. Do that. We're going to get rid of that. 42 on the button, you know. Buttony things. Oversensitive mouse. Okay. And then we'll make you 18, and you will be a good button. And you can have white text. Actually, you can have light gray text. I know people don't like light gray text on buttons. I'm fine with it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but okay. So we're gonna actually make this into a component because, you know, hover. Let's hover. So when we're hovering over this, we actually want to go a little darker. And now the fun begins. We're nesting components within components. Okay, so now these all have hovers. I'm actually not changing this one, so we're gonna, okay, so here's the frustrating thing. The thing I find really frustrating is I can't duplicate this component. So I can't create multiple tags based on this design because I'm going to have to break this component and then make it into a new component and then remember all of the stuff that I did to make this selection. Okay, so now I have to go back, add the hover, and actually, you know what, I'm going to throw that back into my pasteboard really second. We're going to just copy all of this, be really easy. Then we're going to select special. And this is why design systems are good. So you have the directions on the pasteboard and you can go back and grab them, which is nice. So we're just going to go paste. And we're going to paste and just move you like super on top of. Line it up so everything looks specially awesome. And then we're just going to delete the other options. Okay. And now we should have a hover. And then, okay, and now we're going to have a focus. And, okay, so what we one day I will learn. So we're just gonna copy this and we're just gonna paste you in here and you are gonna go. And you are actually gonna go down there. You are gonna hide. You are gonna hide. You are also going to hide, but before that we're gonna duplicate. And you won't be hide, and you will be a minus. Now, let's see if I can get the prototype to work. Okay. So what I need to do is go into prototype, on default state, on tap, we're going to auto animate. We're going to do it a little slow just to see it really well. It shouldn't be this slow in real life. But, so I'm going to hit play. Okay, so we still have our nice little pop and hovers here. Okay, why didn't you do the thing? Okay, if I, theoretically, you should be fine. If I, can hide you. Okay. Let's try it again. Ha! There we go. Okay, now we have a bit of an issue. Let's. Okay, so. Oh, did I not hide you in the hover? Ah, that's why I didn't hide you in the. Oh, okay, no, I did hide you in the hover. You just copied when. Okay, so default. Still there, hidden. Here, still there, hidden. Focus, open. Okay. And now, if I click on you in prototype, you can add the interaction, tap, auto animate, and we'll choose. And now, oh, sorry, now we'll add your auto animate to here, and then I can go to default. Okay, that should. Okay, that should work. There's some things I want to get twitchy about with, you know. All right, we're gonna actually just move you there. Okay, and we'll go back to. Okay, I'm fingers crossed because I have like 6 minutes left, and I actually want to complete what I'm doing today. Okay, so we have hover, hover, not quite hover, not quite hover. I don't know why you're not quite hovering anymore. Okay. Okay, so, oh, maybe I screwed up. Okay. 0.4. That could have been my fault. I could have screwed up. I'm on tap. Choose focus. And then on focused, add tap trigger, and we'll go back to default. Okay. And then we'll just move back to default. Okay, so, all right. Our nice little animation for that, nice little animation for this, and then, okay, it's a little off, but you know what? It does the trick. So it is a little slow. It's a little laggy. Oh, okay. That actually might have been my fault. Might not be laggy at all. I just might not know what I'm doing. I definitely don't know what I'm doing at any point. But I try. Okay. 4 minutes left. We have a basic page. It's not perfect. It's not even close to looking amazing, but we're focusing on just the act of adding these animations in. Okay, so we have that. We do have the hover underneath. So very nice. Like it immensely, and then we can go back and we can micro animations. Micro animations are the bomb. They do lag a little bit. I will give it that. Like they're not necessarily as accurate as just creating the prototype, but they do beautiful things, and I am so happy. So we're just gonna, get done there, and I actually, having the prop, I would never get everything that I would want to get done, but I think I pulled it together in a pretty nice, pretty good. I'm not great with adding like the little lines that make things perfect, but the components on top of components. This is, I really hope Adobe XD just keeps on improving and keeps getting better, and I feel really comfortable. And all right, so I'm going to call that a day. I'm actually gonna, just mumble on for, 2 more minutes here. So I'm gonna go post this into Discord for the Adobe XD challenge later on today. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, like I'm the CRA, just pop them in comments below or get in touch with me on Discord. I would love to hear back from anybody and everybody. I'm, again, Tara. I am a UI designer. I'm based in Victoria. I do, freelancing and contracting. And I've been trying to do more social media stuff, more tutorial stuff. So I'm still quite new at this. I am not great at it by any means. I'm just trying to find more of a feel and just get better. So I'm using this XD challenge as, do this, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you so much for being in touch, for watching today. And if you are interested in, following along with the rest of the week, please subscribe. You'll get the information. I'm going to try to come on between like 12 and 1, maybe a little later, depending on what my day is like. But I'm trying to do mid-afternoon in Pacific time. And if you can't, you're always great. Hopefully you watch this afterwards. Thank you so much. Bye.